Hello everybody, welcome back to another All Maverick reaction where we are still watching Moon Knight with me, Alan, Jeremy,
Yes.
and Tom. Didn't expect that. Right. How's it going, guys? You good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Jeremy's back after having to miss out last episode, episode 4. We're back for episode 5, Asylum. You have caught up though, right, Jez?
Oh, I watched it the same day. Or did I? Or was it the day after? Can't remember.
I think it was the day after.
Yeah, I've watched it
From what
anyway.
you were saying. You preferred Steven's little movement, right, in with the ladies, compared to Tom, who seemed distraught about the whole situation.
Not necessarily whether I loved it or not. I just.
No, but you said it was going to happen.
I predicted
right?
it early on, yeah, just because of the eyes that they seemed to have they had a good connection, don't they? You know, I think with Steven's brains, etc. I think she seems to like a bit of that.
Like she likes a bit of the brains.
Yeah, she likes a bit of the brains.
Tom was less enthralled, to be entirely honest. But that's because literally just the back end of the previous episode, Tom was like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to mention really quickly was that we keep talking about like Moon Knight season 2 and stuff like this, and there's been a bit of a discussion on the Discord group, links below if you want to come and join.
Yeah, I saw that.
server, about the fact that I was reading that Disney have said that this is a limited time season like Hawkeye, so it's a one and done job, not a follow-up season. Now, I personally don't believe that. I think they wanted to test the waters and see how well it does, and if it didn't do very well, then they could bin it and be like, oh, it was only a limited time.
Yeah, they get to keep face doing it that way, don't they?
Be interesting to see if that means resolutions
I
coming up.
get why Hawkeye is a limited series, because obviously, you know, the character's dead in normal times.
No, he isn't.
Oh, no, he didn't.
What you on about?
No, he's not. Sorry.
Hawkeye's even based in current time.
Yeah, no, I got confused with Loki.
Black Widow.
No, I got confused with Loki. Right. Yeah, sorry. Right. I'll shut up. Carry on.
No, but there's less to say with Hawkeye, right? He's been in movies. They were really just using it as a way to introduce Kate Bishop. But what do you think about that, Tom?
Well, it kind of sucks, really, doesn't it? Like you said, it gives them an excuse to be like,
if it didn't do well.
I feel like they're just making series, and whichever ones hit the most to get the biggest views, they'll just make them the new Avengers, new Eternals, new whoever, so they could sell loads.
I'm thinking about that cash money. I might be wrong, but I think I heard that Falcon and the Winter Soldier was getting a follow-up series, which confuses me because I thought that's the weakest one they've done by a mile. Anyway,
let's go.
Anyway, should we get on and watch the episode?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, everybody. So this is Moon Knight season 1, episode 5, Asylum. Going in 3, 2, 1, go.
It's all your fault!
Okay.
Your mind is violently vacillating between sense and nonsense. The struggling mind will often build places to seek shelter for different aspects of the self from our most traumatic memories. Before you got upset, you were talking to me about a boy? You think you could tell me about that little boy?
Welcome, gentle travelers, to the realm of the Duat.
Duat, the Egyptian underworld. This is Taweret. She's guiding us through our journey to the afterlife. Wow. Okay.
Is it her first day on the job?
Yeah, she's not done it for a while.
Why would we imagine this realm to be a psychiatric hospital?
Because we're insane.
Bingo! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wow, that's cool.
If your heart's balanced in life, then you will spend eternity in paradise. But before we get there,
Sounds quite nice.
I've just got to do a quick little.
Nope. Take your hearts.
Oh, goody! It worked. Look at that. It was little old me worrying I'd blow your chest wide open.
Do you reckon Mark's going to be bad? And
Balanced by the time you end the journey.
well, Steven will balance it out, though, won't he?
It's kind of like what was happening when he was trying to, when Arthur was trying to wave,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I don't know.
I guess it's because there's two of them, right?
Yeah.
And, like they've got contradictory natures.
It's the hearts. They aren't full. Balance your scales before we arrive at the field of reeds, or your souls will be destroyed.
Teamwork, boys, teamwork.
He wants teamwork, but he wants teamwork to kill the hippo. It's a thing that they've got to uncover this, obviously, like another personality.
Yeah, I'm presuming so.
Oi, what's this? You think what are we gonna do here? We're gonna like.
Yeah, I think we're going to see something we haven't seen before, but not another person.
Oh Oh.
No prizes. Guessing whose room this is.
All people he's killed over the years or something.
All of them? You killed all of them? They were criminals, murderers, predators, the worst of the worst. And you remember each person? You tried taking a life. Do you see this? Look. The scales are slowing down. It's working. Mark, why is there a child in a room filled with people that you've killed? Wait a moment. Wait a moment.
Who's ready? Who's hungry? We'll eat later. Keep an eye on your brother, okay? Later, skaters. In a while, crocodile.
Yeah, skaters.
Can you hear that, Dr. Grant? I sure do, Russell.
Lads! You have to get out of here! Don't go any further! The water's rising way too fast!
Where's he
That's
going?
rising frighteningly quickly.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? You were supposed to keep him safe? This was all your fault!
Well, I don't know. They did say they were going to the cave.
Yeah.
Probably should have sent a responsible adult with them.
Your mother's not feeling well, Mark.
You were always jealous of him
Oh God.
Jesus.
ever since he was born.
Seems like a healthy upbringing.
Yeah, I think that mum needs to do one.
Why are you remembering her like that? It's not what she was like. What are you hiding?
Mark, son, please come inside. She will get help.
Who are we now?
Could this be where Layla Dad was killed,
Dad,
maybe?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The job was to raid an Egyptian tomb. Called for no witnesses, and I couldn't live with that.
Is that Dr. Fooley?
Oh,
Layla's
yep.
dad? What happened to you?
His partner shot him, right?
Yeah.
Khonshu saved his life. But at what cost?
At what cost, Tom?
I feel the pain inside of you. I am the god Khonshu, in search of a warrior. Your mind, I feel it, fractured.
He was taking advantage of you.
Do you swear to protect the travelers of the light and bring my vengeance to those who would do them harm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then rise and live again as my fist of vengeance, as my moon knight.
He said the name.
So what's going on?
Fear is spreading in the upper world. Unbalanced souls are being judged and condemned to the sands before their time.
So have they released a moot if all these people are being, sent to the underworld without actually having their proper time yet?
Get those scales balanced.
If Layla dies, that's on your head. It'll be all your fault.
No, you can't!
Oh, fucking hell. Mark does not want to go in that room.
This is my room.
Open the door right now. Just let my mom. Open the door right now! You're gonna learn.
Oh, the scars on his back, isn't it?
Oh, let me see what she did.
Disgusting.
You're not meant to see that. You're not meant to see that. That's the whole point of you. All this time I thought I was the original. You've got to live a happy, simple, normal life.
Fuck me, I didn't realise I was going to get this deep this episode.
Well, you want to remember the truth? That you had a mother that beat you, that hated you, but you've gotten to live thinking that she loved you, that she was kind, that she's still alive.
We were saying this since the beginning, weren't we, that she was dead? And she wasn't actually talking to anyone. I think we said that episode 1, right?
Yeah.
My mom is dead.
It's been through the ringer this episode.
This was the moment our lives started bleeding into each other. All those horrible things that she said to you, she was wrong. It wasn't your fault.
Give Mark a hug, Stephen.
So sorry. Your scales never balanced. Our journey's come to an end. The unbalanced souls of the Duat now must claim yours.
Kill her and take the boat.
Yeah. Mark just snaps her neck. Oh, he's got it in face.
Mark, you've got this.
Give him a hand.
But if I'm you, it means I've got this too.
Oh, Stephen's going for it.
Yeah.
He's got a bat.
He's got some good bat skills, old Stephen.
Jesus Christ, he's gone full Negan. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, Steven's gone.
Steven! Steven!
Oh, fuck off. This ain't the end of Steven, is it?
Of course not. He's the main character. He'll be back.
Problem is, you never know if your main character is playing multiple personalities that they'll all be back.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's balanced. Yeah, that looks alright there.
I think I'd get a bit bored. What are you going to do there after like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow, there we go. That was Moon Knight Season 1, Episode 5, Asylum. I thought that was good. Kind of crazy.
Really good. Really good.
I don't know what they're going to do with one episode left.
No, I'm struggling to figure that out, which kind of makes me think if they do just end it after this series, I'm going to be quite sad about it.
I mean, they have to come to a conclusion, right, if that is the case, but it seems like there's a long way to go.
Yeah.
What did you...
I just loved how much they just used that episode in the psych ward to just fill in so many gaps from the previous life.
Yeah.
Or not previous life, from his past.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
And apart from that one dodgy punch that made Tom laugh,
yeah.
I actually think that I wasn't constantly thinking I'm watching the same actor twice in all of this. Like, it was done very well. Like, the having two Oscar Isaacs all the time.
He was very good as well in this episode.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was like the amount of effect. Almost every shot in that episode was like an effect shot in some way, shape, or form, which is kind of crazy. No, I thought it was good. What did you think, Tom?
Probably the best episode.
Yeah.
Didn't have any unnecessary scenes. I think it was all
killer, no filler.
It was all killer, no filler. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. It's one of those episodes, again, a little bit like the back end of last episode. There were lots of little things to take from everything.
Yeah.
Like, everything you could see had something to it. Like, when you saw his kid's room, he had like a little scales there. He was drawing a goldfish with one fin. There was like lots of things that all kind of intermingled. Obviously, we mentioned right back in episode 1, may have been episode 2, but I'm pretty sure we mentioned it from episode 1, that we thought his mum was dead and that he was actually talking to nobody, which we obviously got to see in this episode turned out to be the case.
Yeah.
I like their little callback to the movie from last week, which you picked up on there, Tom, which I had completely forgotten about. The little Tomb Busters quote between him and his brother.
Yeah, well, it was more... They were playing the characters.
Yeah. They were playing Stephen Grant and whatever the other guy was, his little helper guy.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but obviously Stephen's just some sort of coping mechanism that went too far.
Yeah.
Became his own personality.
Well, that was the thing that we saw, right? That his mum had obviously died. He said 2 months ago, right? It had been 2 months before that the mum had died, and that's when their lives had started bleeding into each other. So I'm assuming that really, maybe Stephen hadn't been around for quite a, because it was his coping mechanism when he was younger, right? Maybe he hadn't been around or not around as much for quite a while during these years whilst Mark had been away, and then he starts to kind of come back again when he starts to get more involved directly with his mum's funeral, and that's when they start to kind of combine.
Yeah, I pretty much took it as 2 months ago it was pretty much Mark the whole time, and him kind of having that breakdown at the funeral or outside the funeral was pretty much just him kind of just handing it over to Stephen because he don't want to cope with it anymore. That's how I took it, but I think you're right.
I like how he was like, I'm somewhere I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
I think I might be in Mayfair. It's like, they're driving on the wrong side of the road.
It's like a classic case of these things where a kid has a traumatic experience and then they gain some sort of bipolar or, and that's where it mostly comes from when you're a kid. Like
he had, right? That he wanted to kind of distance himself from the situation with his mum. Obviously after his brother died, and his mum, you can't help how you're affected by the death of a child or something, but pretty horrible to completely blame it on the other kid. When, like we say, you're like, we have to go play in the caves, and your parents are like, okay, cool, go and do that. That seems like a great idea.
But teenage Mark was right as well when he was leaving. I think the dad should have stepped in a bit there. Not a healthy upbringing, was it, for him? Bless him.
No, exactly. Interesting stuff in the underworld as well, where where it was all based, the main focus of the episode being all revolving around them trying to balance their scales, obviously, and getting to just see all those little moments. And what was the name of what was the hippo's name? Was it Taradit or something like that?
Taradit.
Taradit.
Tawer.
Yeah. Who was the goddess of women and children. Hang on. Is that maybe tied into why they were seeing her specifically? Because I wouldn't have thought that it would be her that would normally would be doing that job. I might be wrong, but it seems like a strange choice, right, for someone who would be taking the souls. I never thought that it would be them who weighed up. It's definitely not them. It's like Horus or Osiris or someone like that who weighs your life. But the fact that it's the goddess of women and children, and it was all to do with them as kids and the mother, is that maybe where that's all kind of tied in together? Seems strangely convenient if it isn't.
Yeah, it could be. I didn't really think too much about that actually until you just said.
No, neither did I, so I read it.
I think more specifically, she's the god of fertility and childbirth. So I don't know why they didn't.
Well, they said women. Yeah, they said women and children, didn't they? But I mean, I guess,
maybe it's just it could have just been her shift.
Which is a bit confusing.
It's her shift. Yeah, no, that makes it even more interesting if she's the goddess of fertility and childbirth, but they said women and children. Like that makes it even more like they were trying to point at that being the reason that's why she was there. She was a much more modern god than, like you said, than Khonshu.
Yeah.
And of course, we got to see that moment where Khonshu actually first kind of combined with Marc and kind of took advantage of him in the situation where he was like,
well, he's desperate, weren't
about
he?
to die. Yeah, didn't have a lot of choice.
Well, we kind of moved on from it a little bit, but I want to go back to the bit where they were walking to that cave, and they stood on some
bird
sort of
bones,
bird.
Right?
Yeah.
They were like,
It had the same like beak shape as Khonshu, like, so it was weird. Like, has Khonshu always been following him since he was a kid? But no, because that's.
But it definitely tied in, right? Because I wrote it down as well. The bird was very reminiscent. It did have the same beak shape as Khonshu. Like, there was definitely something there. But there was lots of little things we were seeing, wasn't there, that kind of foreshadowed things to come in a way, like we say, like the scales and the posters and objects and all that kind of stuff. But it was definitely tied into Khonshu. But it's interesting how we're kind of jumping around constantly between these like mental states, and I mean, he's still dead at the end of this episode. Like, what's happening next episode?
I don't know.
Guys,
no idea.
I was relatively convinced that by the end of this episode he would have found his way back to the living world for an ending. But
we kind of presumed that when she was taking them back to the gate. That's what I thought. Oh, okay, that's how it's going to happen now. They've got to balance the scales, and they'll get through the gate, and Bob's your uncle. Done, but no, he's dead.
Yeah, he's in like the field of reeds or whatever.
I'm presuming. Are we going to go back to Layla maybe in the real world and see what happens? Is she able to do something with Khonshu? I don't know. We'll see. One episode.
I like how you quite like the field of reeds, Jez.
Yeah, look quite nice. I'd be quite happy there. Quite nice and peaceful, like little lake.
I think me and Tom would be bored there in 5 minutes. Like, it'd be nice to see, but I don't think I'd want to be there for eternity. Thanks very much.
Well, I hope that's not just it.
That's it, mate. That's what you get.
That's what you get. Yeah, just filled with reeds. Yeah.
No, it's one of those episodes, as I say, where I feel like if you watched it again, you'd pick up on more and more little bits and pieces, which is always good to see in a show. Interesting seeing that we were still seeing more. I kind of went into this one expecting we weren't going to see more of Harrow as the Doctor. Like, I thought that as it ended, we were going to kind of like be coming to the end of the Asylum stuff last episode, but that definitely wasn't the case. We saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
Looking full Ned Flanders.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, when he said that.
I'm surprised we didn't point that one out sooner.
No.
But he was a proper Ned Flanders. I got a big question then. Is Steven dead? Is Steven gone?
I don't think we'll see Steven next episode.
Tom?
Nah, he's still
the thing
alive.
is, the only thing he's is it his soul that went, or was it the body that went?
What was his soul? Right? They said it'd be like. Well, it's hard to say, right? Because they share a body.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Was it just was it just Steven's now just like kind of deep back into Marc? But I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because because they're the same person, and after Steven died, the scales balanced. It's like, does that mean that Marc doesn't need Steven anymore? Has he become?
Yeah, he's whole again.
Yeah, he's whole. They're kind of like two parts of the same now, rather than being like contrary to each other. So,
or does it mean that in Marc's head he's, resolved the conflict he had with his mother or whatever, and Steven, he doesn't see Steven as a hindrance anymore, and You know, he can see him.
Or he doesn't need Steven anymore. You know, it goes back to he's comfortable with everything now, and he doesn't need him anymore, and that's him gone. I don't know. Fucking, we'll find out next week, won't we? Hopefully.
Well, it's good to see that Steven actually got his bit of a moment, right? He got some time to. He got his like hero moment, as it were, where, as we say, he went kind of full Negan with that baseball bat, like battering some of like the souls of the underworld, and committed a little bit too much to getting one off of Mark and threw himself overboard.
He had a very stressful day.
He definitely. I think they both did. You know, this episode as a whole was really carried by Oscar Isaac.
He was really good.
He had a lot of dramatic scenes in there. The bit where he was like beating himself up about not wanting to go into the room was pretty intense. I would be definitely disappointed if we didn't see more Steven. Like, you know, if we didn't see Steven again, I think I'd be pretty sad, because Mark's all right, but he's very kind of standard action hero kind of guy, maybe. But Steven's kind of, you know, he's the yin to his yang, as it were. So
yeah, it works.
I'm still interested to see if there's a third personality in there, right? Because I thought we might see something this episode, but no, we went full backstory, which I think was the right way to do it. But there's something still there in that last episode where people were getting killed on rooftops, and it wasn't Mark.
Would the scale still be unbalanced though if there was a third one?
Well, it depends if they're not aware of them. I guess.
Suppose. Yeah, aren't they meant to be all seeing?
Mark and Steven are very aware of each other, right?
That's true.
I don't know. I think it would be a shame if they introduced someone else in the last episode. If they're not going to do a second
that's
season,
the problem, isn't it?
Just seems a bit pointless.
Yeah, because you'd think if there was going to be a second season, it'd be one of those classic things where the cliffhanger ending would be this third person turning up, right? That would be the kind of go-to cliffhanger ending type. But just because we're talking though about maybe there's not going to be another series doesn't mean that that's all we're going to get of Moon Knight. Let's not forget that they could spin this up into, you know, the character's bound to appear somewhere else, right?
Yeah,
like
possibly,
or something like that. But it's hard, isn't it? Because this is where I find the Marvels move into TV shows and movies hard, because it really it segments your audience even more in a way. Like when you've got big narrative beats that are taking place in TV shows, not just in movies, then you have a lot more people that can go to see your films going, I don't know what the hell is going on. But I guess you could say that if you skipped any of the Marvel stuff, it could impact on how much you know about the overall arc. So you've got to kind of commit to it all in a way, haven't you, if you want to know fully.
I think give it a few years and people are going to find it hard to get into Marvel stuff, because there's so much backstory they won't know about. If you watch it for the first time, you're going to be so confused. And
this is a little bit off topic for Moon Knight. I feel like Endgame is probably... I feel like it's going to be I don't know. I don't see us having another moment in movies like that where like a big culmination that's done so well throughout. Like, I'm not saying every movie that Marvel made was a fucking classic, but like it all culminated so well in the end of that storyline.
I can't see him personally trying to recreate another Avengers type scenario. You got like the Doctor Strange, and you got like Thor, and you got another Black Panther film coming out. Part of me just feels like once they've run their course, we're just going to see more standalone films and series
with the odd little
crossover, but not much. That's kind of how I'd imagine it happening now. I just don't. Everything's always going to be compared to Avengers, aren't they? And it's not going to.
See, I think we're going to end up with a new Avengers type at some point.
Maybe for
Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, you're going to have your...
Maybe for the new generation of fans, I suppose, they can recreate
That's what I'm talking about, like the younger people, right? It's going to be, like I say, you're going to have your new Hawkeye, you've got your new Black Widow kind of coming through, you're going to have some of those... you've got that Miss Marvel that they're working on. I think we might see down the line a film with like those characters all coming together, but they're never going to have to bring like fucking everyone together. It's going to be like a high school reunion at that point. It's going to be ridiculous. Anyway, we've strayed. I thought this was a really good episode. I don't have a clue where the series finale is going. I'm excited about it though. This is your top of your list, you say, Tom? You think this is your favourite one of the series?
Yeah, I think when it comes to most TVs and movies, probably said this on other shows we watch, you know, I just like learning about the characters and seeing what makes them who they are. I don't really care about action and
Yeah, same.
All that kind of crap, or people kissing and shit. I just want to see.
It's still sore about Layla and Steven.
Anything else you guys want to say about this episode?
Nope.
I think this will be the one episode where, from this series, I'm going to go away and be upset that I didn't mention something, because there was a lot that happened.
There was a lot.
We've probably
leave it in the comments, Tom.
Yeah, I've written down various notes, but they look a bit like the ramblings of a madman, because they're just like little things that I saw that I wrote down and now out of context mean nothing to me.
Well, I guess it was interesting seeing Harrow seemed to know that they were doing that stuff with Tara.
Yeah, he knew that there was something else going on, didn't he?
Yeah, and he forced Mark to tell Steven, and then Steven appeared, which is probably what he wanted. I don't know. It was a struggle to make sense of what was going on.
Well, it felt a little bit there, almost like in a way that I don't specifically think this is the intent, but that it felt a little bit like Arthur was kind of sowing a little bit of like some of the arguments between them, like him saying to Steven, "Oh no, you were the one that brought you in here." Kind of like pulling the little thread of who's the original personality and who isn't, because at this point Steven was very much of the opinion that he'd been made up by Mark, but then Harrow says this and he suddenly goes, "Oh, what? So I brought us here," which gives him that little moment of, maybe I'm the kind of the primary, as it were. I don't think that was really what it was going for, but that's a little bit what it just felt to me thinking about back to it there. The whole thing's madness, right? Because we don't know if that is even really like somehow Harrow has got into his mind and is manipulating him, or if it's literally all just something he's making up in his brain after being shot. I think it's the latter, and I think Harrow there is just like, a formulation of their brain, but maybe he's going to wake up and Arthur's got him tied up and sedated somewhere and he's skewing for his brain. Who knows?
Well, that's what I mean. That's that whole thing that was going on. I said at the start, that is this what Arthur does to people to make them his followers? Kind of.
No, I took it as probably the latter of Alan's comment. I think even the forgotten name, the hippo, said it was just a way of them to be able to. They're definitely dead, and it was just a way of them being able to make sense of the situation. I think Arthur's just a way of having that kind of in between the two of them, in terms of trying to digest it all.
Well, because we saw all of these. We saw all of these souls falling down that she said, falling down into the underworld. So obviously something's going on, right? Because we were seeing tons of souls all being judged. They were falling out all around. So
maybe that's where we're going to start next episode. We're going to pick up from with Layla, and
that's how they're going to get through it, right? They're going to skip us ahead a little bit, and Thing is already going to be released, or is on her way to being released. Amut. But who knows?
Next
we'll
week.
Find out next week, I guess. We'll find out next week when Tom has to have his last week of getting up early for some Moon Knight. Right. Anything else we want to go into? You good, Tom?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next, and I feel like I'm afraid the episode's going to be twice as long just to try and fit everything in.
I was thinking that was the runtime going to be like next week. I was literally thinking that. Yeah, who knows? It could be longer. This one was a little bit shorter, so who knows? Maybe next week we'll be talking about a long episode. Well, thank you for watching, everybody. This has been Moon Knight Season 1, Episode 5. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to like and subscribe, but leave some comments below. No spoilers if you've learned a lot from the comic that we couldn't possibly know about at this point. Do you think Steven's dead? I would be interested to know your opinions on that one. If you have enjoyed this, remember to head over to allmaverick.com, where you can check out our videos, our blogs, and our podcasts. You can also go to twitch.tv/allmaverick live, where we stream on a Tuesday and Thursday evening. I was playing some Secret of Monkey Island last night. Haven't played that game in years. It's a classic. Tom thinks it just looks like the early version of Sea of Thieves. So, that was what Tom was chipping in with. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Remember to check out the social links below. Come and join the Discord server. Chat to us there about this and other shows and movies. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.